but I would like to get your raw take on something. And listen, this isn't to be taken too seriously. It's just for a bit of fun. But you spoke a little bit about what you expect to happen in the municipal elections. So what I'd like to know is, would you be prepared to go party by party? What sort of percentage are they going to get? And it doesn't have to be exact. It could be like a range.
If I push it across the country.
Sure.
So if I extrapolate it in, nationally, the municipal. So I think in November, where will each party be out of 100% for the country? The DA is going to be at 26%. The Freedom Front Plus will be at 5, 6 even. Big swing to the Freedom Front Plus. The Patriotic Alliance, I'm trying to remember where they were. They were like 1.5, will be at 4.
I think they were at 2.5,
they'll
something
double.
like that.
They'll double. Freedom Front Plus will double. IFP will be flat. MK is going to boom because they're going to get a swing in KZN. And the ANC will have gone from 40.5 to 30. So they'll be still, I think, nose at nose, slightly above the DA.
That's
Action
interesting.
SA will have gone nowhere. ACDP will have gone nowhere. They'll have stayed where they were. EFF will have dropped. They'll be down at 5. And MK probably were at 15, will be at 16, 17. But most of their votes will shift from rest of South Africa to, they'll lose in rest of South Africa and win in KZN, if that makes any sense.
That does make a lot of sense. And no, I appreciate your guts here, Rob. Rather than giving a range, you just said it straight. This is the percentage. And just to anybody watching.
Where are you on that? I want to know your view, because yours is probably more scientific.
Oh, my God. Okay. All right. Okay. So before I mention it, just to cover both me and you, folks, this is just a fun question. If our predictions are off, don't come for us. We're just imagining what we think will happen. We're not putting this on any data or science, but I'll say it like this. The ANC, I think, will be somewhere between 30 and 35%. The reason for that big range is just because I'm wondering where voter turnout will be. Because we saw how, like, in the last election, yes, there were quite a lot of people that went to MK, but then there were also people who never voted. So I'm just wondering, how many more people are going to leave the ANC for other parties? How many are just going to drop out the system? So that's why I'm going to leave it sort of at like 30 to 35%. The DA, I think, could probably go anywhere between 22 to 25. I'm still unsure about whether or not they'll grow in this election. I'll tell you why, Rob, is because I imagine they're going to get a lot of disenfranchised ANC votes. And I think with Helen, they'll probably grow quite a lot in Gauteng. But I think they're going to get quite a hit in the Western Cape. So my question is, will the votes they gain be higher than the votes they lose? So that's why I'm a bit unsure. But as we saw in the last election, it seems that what the DA managed to do is, even when they lose votes, they gain percentage because everybody else seems to have their voter turnout get hit even more. So that's why I'm saying I think the DA could gain or lose votes, but I think their percentage will go up either way. That's why I'll say between 22 and 25. MK is a hard one. I'm going to say they'll get maybe between 10 and 12%.
Down. They'll go down.
I think they'll go down because the IFP seem to be doing well in by-elections. And I do agree with you. I don't think they're going to collapse like a lot of people say. But I'd say the main reason I think they're going to go down is just because they don't seem to have that much going on in other provinces, if that makes sense. Like, they have like Zulus in Gauteng and then KZN people who are voting for them. But like, I can't imagine them growing in Limpopo or the Western Cape or something, just to give some crazy example. So that's why I think, or the Eastern Cape. Yes. Yeah. So that's why I think they'll probably go down a little bit. EFF, I tend to agree with you. I'll play it safe and say maybe between like 6% and 9%, although probably closer to like 6%. Like I can't imagine who's going to vote for the EFF that hasn't voted for them before. Like I can't imagine
Correct.
anybody joining
Correct.
them. Um, IFP, IFP, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I know people will disagree with me. I think they could go up to 5%. I think that voter turnout will be good to them. And because they're doing quite well in by-elections, I feel like maybe their local campaign in KZN is doing quite well. So I'm going to say maybe they will
I
hit
like
about
the IFP.
5%.
I've met all the people I've met, I think are superb. And what about
Well,
Freedom Front Plus? Give
good
us
to
FF
hear.
Plus. What's your FF Plus be?
Ooh, you see, that's also a tough one because I feel like the swing to the Freedom Front Plus is so recent that I'm wondering how many of the new people that want to vote for them are serious about voting for them and how many say they're going to do it, but then on election day, they're just going to vote DA. Like they'll chicken out last minute. So I'm going to say I can imagine the Freedom Front Plus getting anywhere between 4 and 6%.
That's a good big
Um,
move.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's quite a big range for a party of that size, but I'll say 4% because we've seen like in that Tshwane by-election how they seem to be doing really well in places like Pretoria and Centurion and stuff. But at the same time, like I said before, I don't know how many of these new converts, if we can call them that, are serious and who's going to be like, no, I'll swing back to the DA. So that's why I give it
I
that
think you and
space.
I
And
in that
who
you and I
is
might be in that category. You and I might well be in that category.
we might be. I pretty much am because I was never gonna vote for the DA anyway. But yeah, by process of elimination, like there's nobody else I would vote for. But then, which parties am I missing, Rob? I feel like I'm missing
You're
someone.
missing ACDP, but I think they are what they are. Good guys, but not
Yeah,
going to
they
grow.
are what they are.
Action SA,
They're not gonna grow.
Action.
Action SA. I think they could grow from their 2024 results, but I think they'll still be smaller than their 2021. So it's like basically between that 1% and 2%. Like it's not
Yeah.
they're not going to knock the lights out. Yeah, they're just kind of chilling in Joburg. Yeah. The PA, your friend Gayton. I'm going to say the PA will probably get like 3.5%, 4%. I agree with you. I think because a lot of people make it sound like the PA is going to grow more than the Freedom Front, but I'm actually going to say I think the Freedom Front will be bigger than the PA. That's just my sneaky suspicion. But
That's
yeah,
an interesting one to watch, those two, because actually,
that is a very interesting one.
Corne, Mulder, and Gayton speak all the time, actually get on very well, have great respect for one another.
Yeah,
Corne's world.
I've noticed they.
Corne Mulder is world class. As a human, as a politician, he is something else. For people who don't know him, go and listen to some of his interviews. What an extraordinary man. I salute to him.
No, for sure. And I'm glad to hear that him and Gayton are getting along, doing their thing, because I understand obviously the PA are viewed as flip-floppers, but it would be good if they could find their way that like sort of again, as you say, that center-right grouping, they can kind of work together. And yeah, just before we end off, Rob, something that I'd really
We
like to
haven't
ask
done
you, just because we're
international.
discussing.
We haven't done international yet, but finish your thought.
Oh, yes, we've got to get to that. But yeah, just before we do, because we're talking about those parties and it's like sort of all the parties in the Western Cape, what do you think is going to happen there between the DA, Freedom Front Plus, PA?
I think DA, Freedom Front plus PA will wipe out the ANC forever and a day in the Western Cape. The ANC will cease to exist in the Western Cape come November and couldn't be happier. They should
Sure.
FO Polisi car. And they're going to disappear forever from the Western Cape. How good is that? The ANC.
Of course. I agree with you. I think they probably will wipe them out. But I guess the last question in that regard is, are the DA going to lose their majority in the Western Cape. I know that's not the municipal election, but like if we had to like add up all the results, do you think that will happen?
Yes, that is the trend, and that is coming. Yeah. I mean, they've been at 54, 51%. Is that right? I think they'll drop into the 40s.
Yeah.
But, the Western Cape will become a coalition. It'll be DA, Freedom Front Plus, and PA. That's it. Then you'll have... And they can work together, I'm telling you right now. And all the haters, the Gayton haters in the comments are going to go, Rob, we like what you say, except Gayton, you got to ditch him. He's blah, 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 blah. Guys, relax. He's on our side come the right time. He's politicking right now. He's doing his kiss-ass ANC stuff because he has to. But come the right time, he believes in what you believe in and I believe in and Matthew believes in. The primacy
that's
of
good to hear.
He is. He's one of us.
Sure. Well, I'll say it like this because I like to try and be fair. It's actually what I did with Kuchle, who of course is a big DA guy on the on the Truth Report Live. But I'll say this: I'm always willing to give a person a chance and not completely rule them out. And so what I'll say is, if in this election those kinds of results roll in, let's see. I'll give the PA a chance to, work with the Freedom Front Plus and DA. Let's see them prove themselves. I'm saying, regardless of what we've thought until this point, if they can get into a position of power, let's see them prove themselves, and then we'll judge. So I'll end off by saying that. But yeah, Rob, as you said, there's important international stuff at the moment. And we know that at the moment with like the Iran war, it seems as if everybody's in limbo, and we keep seeing mixed signals of how, President Donald Trump is saying, on one hand, we might have to go back and fight them. On another hand, there's a deal to be made. But in your view, Rob, what do you think is going on in Trump's mind? Like, what is his end goal here?
It's all about the uranium and opening the Straits of Hormuz. It's that simple. If he gets those things, he's done. He leaves the IRGC to continue murdering their own people. And, I think what America's done, Trump's done, is extraordinary. I salute him for the courage for what he's done. I wish he'd mashed the IRGC a bit more, and a couple more weeks of clapping them. I wouldn't be unhappy if he went in again for 2 weeks and demolished more of the IRGC, more assassinations, more smashing their positions. But I do think he knows. Remember, we don't know what's going on. We think we know because it's the most transparent war ever. I go to this podcast called Max Afterburner. I'd highly recommend it. He's a fighter pilot, American fighter pilot, now a podcaster. And it's the coolest, most amusing channel because he gives you all the detail about all the equipment. And I'm hooked on it. But Max Afterburner, basically says, guys, we can get as much information as we can, but Mossad, CIA, America, and Israel know what's going on. We don't. And if Trump says a deal is imminent, a deal is imminent. He's not a dummy. He knows that Iran is trying to delay. But he has people on the ground. He's dealing with Pakistan. He's dealing with Oman, Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi, Israel. He knows what's going on. And there's something we don't know that he knows, and we just need to trust him. He's not afraid to send the military in again to smash the IRGC further. I love seeing that kinetic action. Love it. I'd like to see more. But the reality is, I think he knows a deal is imminent. And it's a real deal, and he can get it done. So let's give it a few more weeks. And then he's a hero. I mean, and if he can get some of those countries to sign the Abraham Accords, he deserves the Nobel Prize. I mean, America has all the cards. For people who say it's a quagmire, he's trapped, he doesn't know what's going on, nonsense. He knows what's going on. It's not a quagmire. He's done an incredible job. Can I comment on Ukraine? People have forgotten about the Ukraine war.
Yes, actually, that was, funnily enough, you read my mind because I actually watched a video of yours on Ukraine, Rob, on Truth Report, and I know I probably sound like very nepotistic because, of course, I'm on Truth Report, but I really enjoyed it because it was so informative, and also I feel like everybody's forgotten that this war is happening. And it's shaping the future of Ukraine and Russia and Europe. So yeah, Rob, please take it away. I'd love to hear your insight.
So the macro level is America has really extracted itself. Trump knows he can't get a deal done, and he's pulled back. They're still providing support, weapons. Elon Musk's been amazing with Starlink, but it's now a European war. Europe is backing Ukraine, and Ukraine is winning. Doesn't mean they're going to get all their territory back. Doesn't mean Crimea, the Russians are going to surrender. This war can grind on for another 5 years, but Russia is losing. They are losing territory. In the last 4 weeks, they've lost territory. And it's 75 square kilometers here, 100 square kilometers, which is not enormous, but they are going backwards. They are not being able to replenish their military anymore. They're losing, I think it's 30,000 troops a month, 1,000 troops a day killed or mutilated or injured. And they're not getting 30,000 troops a month being recruited. Russia's economy is a wreck. Ukraine's whacked 30% of its oil refining capacity. They're doing long-range strikes. They are winning the air war with their incredible drone capacity. Russia, by not winning, is losing. And the longer it goes on, the bigger a disaster it is for Putin, which is wonderful. And the Europeans, at last, are growing a spine. Now, Poland, Hungary, Sweden, great countries. They've always had a spine. But for those wussy Brits, French, and Germans, and Italians, and the horrifically leftist Spaniards, stuff Spain. I hope they get knocked out of the World Cup in the first game.
Me too.
What nasty, evil leftists the Spanish are. But for them, they're growing a spine. They're spending between 3 and 5% of GDP on military equipment. They're getting balls back again, and they're backing Ukraine. So chapeau to Ukraine. I mean, what a brave, courageous, extraordinary country kicking Russia's ass right now. Do you know the Ukraine war, 4.5 years, has now gone on longer than the Second World War in Europe, from when Germany invaded Poland to when Hitler dumped himself off was 4 years. This Ukraine war is 4.5 years, longer than the Second World War in Europe.
Oh, that's unbelievable. Because I knew that it passed the First World War, because that was 1914 to 1918. But I didn't realize that it's... Oh, wow. Okay, so the European campaign. All right. Yeah. Oh, that's really interesting to hear.
Terrifying, and most people have forgotten about it. Most people don't even think about Ukraine. So there's that scenario, and unbelievable what's happening there. So I think the world is in great shape. I'm super positive, super optimistic. Today is a better day than yesterday. 140 years ago, we'd have died of tooth decay. Now AI is going to do healthcare for free. I think we're on the verge of abundance. I'm super positive. We all all of us go, oh, the world's in terrible shape. My stats, 93% of people are depressed, worried. 7% are rational optimists like me. And by the way, there's a fantastic website called The Rational Optimist that I devour, come out with a weekly newsletter. And all they do is explain incredible developments that are happening around the world and how it's fixing all the problems you worry about. So take the morons of the left who believe in climate change, net zero, all that rubbish. Technology is going to solve these problems. Just the right incentives. If someone knows they can make $1 billion fixing a problem, they're going to do it. That's the beauty about the Western world. So all the problems will be solved by technology. Here I'm getting all woo. But I really believe, go to the Rational Optimist Society. It's the coolest website, coolest newsletter. I want to meet those guys.
A rational optimist. I like that. And you know what, Rob? I think that's a perfect place to leave it. That message of hope, that not everything's doom and gloom, and that there really are, like you rightfully mentioned, so many amazing positive developments in the world. And I agree with you. So I think the message is, be a rational optimist. I'm going to do my best to be one. Let's get everybody else who's watching this to be a rational optimist as well. And Rob, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. I've certainly enjoyed it.
Matthew, that's great. Boer market plan. Love this country. Let's make it work.
Amen. Well,
Amen.
thank you everybody for tuning into this episode. If you enjoyed it, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also subscribe to Truth Report, where you'll be able to see more of the brilliant content from Rob, myself, and the rest of the team. And until next time, I'm Matthew Cohen, and this is the Power Pod.